Okay, so we have learned the triggers, how to write it. Now it's high time for us to implement it. Okay, so there's a requirement, there's a small situations that I'm going to explain, and then we will go ahead and implement the same thing with the help of trigger and trigger handler. So please understand the requirement first, and then we'll go ahead and implement it. Okay, this video is going to be a little longer, so I'm just going to divide this video in two videos. Okay, so the requirement is this. See, whenever you create a new case, you have to select the case has been raised by which contact. Okay, so the case will always have a contact. Not always, this is not a mandatory, this is just a lookup, right? So the case is not mandatory, so the contact is not mandatory. But let's say if while creating a case I select a contact name Rajesh, if I select a contact name Rajesh, or let's say whatever contact that I have, let's say this contact, then the requirement here is this contact phone number should come here. There will be a custom field called contact info. That contact info field will be updated with this particular contact's phone number. Are you getting me? Whenever you create a case, that case's contact, right, whatever contact you select as the parent, that contact's contact number should be populated in the custom field called contact info. All right, so this is what we have to do, write a trigger and do it. And while implementing this, I'm going to show you how to use map here, and how to use all the best practice to implement this scenario, and how can you use update operation here, like, you know, before update. This is basically a before update scenario, right? Or before create. So before the case gets created or updated, if there's a contact selected, then I will go and find out what is the contact number of this particular contact and populate over here. That is exactly a simple requirement that I am going to implement. Before even I go and implement the scenario, let's go and quickly create the custom field inside the case object called contact info. And the data type for that field should be what? Phone field. Okay, click on next. Name is contact info. All right, and then click on next, and next. If okay, so this field name contact info will be updated whenever I create a case. All right, now the trigger will be there in which object? What do you think? The trigger will have to write in which object? Definitely case, right? So I'm gonna go and write the trigger on case object. I need your help here. What do you think? What should be the event? Any idea what should be the event? So I'm gonna go and create a new Apex trigger on the object called case, and then case trigger. The object name is case here, ABC case, submit. This is my trigger. I want you to tell me what should be the event here. Before insert and before update. So before the record gets inserted, I have to check, is any contact selected? Yes, then what's the phone number of the contact? And again, before the record gets updated, I have to check, is any contact of that record? Yes, then go and find out the contact information of that contact and then populate it. All right, so my trigger is ready. What next? Next is I have to create one Apex class. What should be the Apex class name? Case trigger handler, right? That's how the standard name, right? I mean, there's no standard, but the name should be like this, okay? Because whenever a next developer comes, for them it will be easy to understand, like, what is the case trigger handler for that particular case. In this case trigger handler, I'll have a small method, public static void. What will be the method name? First of all, I have to write a method which will help me to find the phone number of the contact. Please understand this, okay? This is where I'm going to show you how to use map here to get the phone number and everything, okay? And if you learn here how to use map, the same thing you can replicate in many places. So as per my requirement, what I have to do here, whenever I select, let's say there's a contact, first of all, let me create a contact quickly with a valid phone number, okay? The contact name is suppose Vikash, Vikash, okay? And the phone number of that contact is 943419812. That's the phone number, suppose. Okay, now if I click on save, the contact has been created. What is the next? I will go and create a case. And when I create a case, right, I'm just creating a case here, and this contact should be what? The same contact that I just have created. The moment you click on save, the phone number of this particular contact will be fetched and populated over here in this field. Now the thing that we're going to do here is, how do you go and fetch the phone number of this particular contact that you have selected? So I'm going to create a method. The method will accept the ID of this particular contact. So please understand this theoretically, and then we'll go and implement it. Whenever I create a case, trigger.new will give me this particular contact name and ID and everything. I will pass this ID of this contact to this particular method that I'm creating here. And this method will go and find, okay, this contact ID, what is the phone number? And it will give it to me. Alright, and that phone number, I will put it here to update this particular case. Okay, so how to do it? Let me just quickly create this method and then I'll explain you. Okay, so the method name should be find the contact number. Okay, and here this method is expecting ID of what? Contact ID. Okay, and that method is starting here. This method will return. We discuss about return, right? Void is what? It's a return type, and this method is expecting nothing in return. But my point here is, I am going to pass the IDs. Okay, the moment I pass the ID, this method will go and find, okay, for this contact, what is the name? Vikash. What is the phone number? Whatever number. And it will hold that name versus number in a map. So I'm going to write a map here. Map of name. Name is nothing but string, okay? String slash comma integer, or let's say string only. Okay. Let me just quickly write this code and then I'll explain. Give a name. Map name should be hold the number map. No, the name should be like this, okay? Contact name with contact number map. Why the name is little big, but this name is actually defining what kind of data it is holding. So make sure you give this kind of name, okay? Maintain this format when you create a name, and new map of same thing. And this, see, I have created this map. Now this map will hold what? This map will hold the name of that contact and the phone number of the contact. Okay, so what I have to get it, I have the ID of that contact. I'm gonna go and write a small query. Like I'll take a list of contact name is list of contact, right? Give a name con list is equals to new list of contact. Okay, and then this con list will be loaded is equals to select ID comma phone comma name from contact where the ID is equals to, you're going to put is equals to id equals to, this is the id. Get it? So to bulkify this, correct? Now to bulkify this, right, what I'm going to do is I'm going to pass this set of id. This is going to be a little complex program, but stay till the end and try to understand this. Till the end of this video, we'll be able to understand this properly. Okay, set of IDs and con IDs. Okay, I'm going to put like this, ID in. The moment you put, see, you put is equals to when you have one single data, but this is a set of IDs. It means this variable can hold multiple IDs. So you have to put in operator. This is operator. Okay, in then colon. Okay, this SQL query will help you to fetch all the contacts where ID is in this particular IDs. Okay, now once you have this ready, all you need to do is write a for loop and get one by one the contact name and phone number and hold it in this map. That's it. So contact con, what is the name? Con list. And here I'm going to use this map. Where's the map? Map is here. You remember how to insert something in the map with the help of put method, right? The put method will actually help you to hold something in the map. So I'm going to hold con dot name comma con dot phone number. That's it. So this variable is now getting loaded with the name of that contact and phone number. I got few errors. Let me quickly fix it. So invalid type contact, line number 6. There's a spelling mistake, CONTACT. Illegal assignment from list to list, line number 7. Right, okay, that has gone. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to return this. This is even more complex, but don't worry, I'll explain this again. I'm just returning this particular map. This one, Control C, Control V. That's it. See, this method I have created. This is just a calculator, okay? Suppose, understand this line, okay? This will help you to understand this method. Example, let's say you have a CSV file which has a lot of cases data, and you are inserting many cases through the CSV file. And while inserting the data from the CSV file, you definitely have like many contacts, correct? Each case has one contact. So if you have like 10 cases, like 10 contacts, what I'm going to do is I am going to pass all the contact ID of the case. You're getting me? In the Excel, you have 10 cases. Each case has contact ID. I will get all the contact ID from trigger.new and I will just pass it over here in this method. This method will do what? This method will try to fetch the phone number and the name of all the contact ID that you have passed. And with the for loop, it will run one by one. And this variable, this is the map variable, it will hold the name of the contact, the phone number of the contact, name of the contact, phone number of the contact. So all 10 contacts name and phone will be coming over here. And that's the same thing I'm returning to this method. Whenever I call this method, if I pass the correct contact IDs, I will get those contacts name and phone number map in the return. Okay, so this looks a little complex, but again, don't worry, I'm going to implement same kind of scenario a couple of times, and I hope this will be clear for you then. But again, if you're coming from a different background, like different Java and all background, you are familiar with this kind of coding, right? So I think this would be easy for you. But people are coming from freshers background, you have to type in this code again and again and see the output. Okay, map is very important for Apex. Without using map, coding would be a little difficult. I mean, basic coding you can do, but when you write some functionality in your Apex in a project, you have to use map. Okay, so this much for this video. In the next video, I'm going to connect the dots. Next video, I'm going to show you how can you get all the IDs from the trigger.new of case and pass it over here and catch and hold all the contact name and the phone number, contact name and phone number. Okay, so this is just a method I have written. I'm going to use this method in the actual business logic. See you in the next video.